Sad news for Barcelona fans. Dani Olmo has agreed with Bayern on a winter transfer. Marcus Rashford is in talks with Borussia Dortmund. The Englishman chose to follow his compatriot's path. Another scandal surrounding Vinicius Jr. There's almost no chance that the Brazilian will stay at Real Madrid. And Elon Musk is planning to buy Liverpool. His father told about this. Friends, this is Dose of Football and the top 10 hottest news to this hour. I won't hesitate to remind you that 5,000 thumbs up today is a guarantee that we will see you tomorrow. So be sure to leave your like. Well, according to our good tradition, I wish you a pleasant appetite and a pleasant viewing. Cristiano Ronaldo stated that the Saudi championship is stronger than the league. Krish has not played in the French championship, but still made a conclusion. But, in my opinion, Neymar's opinion on this matter is more authoritative. And the Brazilian agreed with Cristiano's words. The level of the Saudi League is growing. And judging by what I see, it's better than League One. League One has its own advantages. The Saudi League players have improved, but it's still not a very strong league. The next one added that Saudi Arabia has won him over. People, country, cities, culture. And he is sure that the World Cup in 2034 will be incredible. What can you say here? Neymar's trying his best to secure a new contract with Al Hilal. It would be strange to hear anything else from him. Although with all the perks of the Saudi League, the Brazilian is eager to play in the Major League Soccer. And he hinted again that Inter Miami is one of his options. Playing with Messi and Suarez again would be incredible. They are my friends. We still keep in touch. It would be interesting to revive this trio. Who knows? Football is full of surprises. Neymar noted that when he moved to Al Hilal, the transfer window in Major League Soccer was closed, and he couldn't consider options from the States. But now he would definitely have studied them. Neymar's hinting at a transfer to Inter to provoke an offer from Zappi, killing two birds with one stone. Moreover, he is urging Al Hilal to gain a stronger negotiating stance in the 2-year-long talks, which have progressed without football. In this regard, perhaps, I was wrong to call Neymar an authority on the issue of comparing the League One and the Saudi Championship. He played in France, but not so much in Arabia. Doubtful that a couple of matches were enough to fully test it out. Recently, there have been rumors that Ney may return to his native Santos. But honestly, I don't believe it that much. Then the forward will have to make significant financial concessions. And the love for the club might not be enough to overcome this deficit. In Miami, the Brazilian is not offered as much as in Al Hilal, but still more than in Brazil. And the differences are compensated by the presence of Suarez and Messi. And where else is a more understandable environment for a Brazilian striker? Didier Deschamps symbolizes a new era of the highly skilled French national team. The mentor won the world championship with the team. Took silver, not euro. Opinions on the coach may vary, but the end result favors him. To some extent, the same applies to Southgate. Just that Gareth's style is even more conservative, and therefore the Englishman is hated more vehemently. But Deschamps is also clearly not maximizing the use of the acquired offensive assets. The French probably have the strongest lineup in the world. More accurately, it's a B team, because you can assemble about 3 of them, without any significant difference in quality. If someone gets injured, another player takes his place, but no less strong. Consequently, they anticipated Deschamps' victories at major tournaments. And he has one, unlike Southgate. But the century's coming to an end. It seems that it finally became clear at the last Euro, when 2 key players of the team were not in shape. Griezmann, Mbappe, and Deschamps failed to create any significant scoring opportunities against their opponents. 1 goal from open play for the entire tournament? Well, that's just a disgrace for such a team. Deschamps decided to leave the team. As reported by L'Equipe, the coach will leave his post after the World Cup 2016. The coach decided months ago, but will officially announce it Wednesday. Deschamps has earned the role despite some players disliking him. Karim Benzema is glad someone else will now lead the team, but who will it be? Do I really need to answer this question seriously? Zidane has been holding out for this opportunity for years, turning down offers from Manchester United, Paris Saint-Germain, Juventus, and Bayern Munich. His native team was more appealing to him, and now Zizou has finally achieved his goal. Of course, we only know that he will lead the team after the fact. But you understand that the French Football Federation would turn to him. Or are there more top-notch free French coaches? And Zizou will do everything possible to ensure the negotiations go smoothly. And finally, he will return to work. We've already missed him. However, reports emerged yesterday that Florentino Perez convinced Zizou to return to Real Madrid. And if Carlo Ancelotti leaves after this season, it's the Frenchman who should take his place. In short, we'll follow the development of events. Real Madrid is doing everything to protect Vinicius. After a recent match against Valencia, where the Brazilian received a red card for clashing with the goalkeeper, the club began preparing an appeal to the championship leadership. In Madrid, they believe the referees were biased. And of course, it's all because of Barcelona and Negredo. The leadership and Madridistas even discussed making changes to the refereeing with Zane Infantino at a recent meeting in Doha. They aim to lessen video assistant referee's impact on the match. The Madridistas are also contemplating appealing to the Spanish Federation to replace La Liga's entire refereeing leadership. Carlo Ancelotti also sided with Vinicius and stated that the winger provoked the fans. Indeed, the atmosphere at the Mistale was so-so. The dirtiest insults were hurled at Vinny. However, first of all, which footballer do they not come across? Secondly, I remind you that Valencia fans don't hate Vinny just for no reason. The footballer himself used to provoke them, even admitted that he did it on purpose. The ongoing scandals surrounding Vinicius are troubling Florentino Perez, and as Toto Fichajes writes, the president of Marengof knows how to get rid of unpleasantness. No Vinicius, no problem. That's why Real is ready to consider an offer for the Brazilian, even if he is a key player of the team. Ex-Real scout Manolo Romero recently said that Perez sees a new main star in Mbappe and will personally take Vinicius to the airport if offered 300 million euros. Such an amount is ready to be paid in Saudi Arabia. According to journalist Mario Cartagena, Vine's agents have been in contact with representatives of the Saudi League, as the Sheikhs have long sought to sign the Brazilian player. The transfer is still distant, but talks will resume nearer to the summer. The Sheikhs really want to get Vinicius, including for advertising the World Championship. The planned negotiations are already serious. Who could resist with such money at stake? They are offering Vine more than €1 billion for a very successful, but nonetheless risky ballgame. Can he be blamed for this? Manchester United is forced to sell players in the winter transfer window as the club's treasury needs replenishment. Fortunately, years of brilliant transfer policy have led to the fact that the squad is full of dross that is begging to be sold. The same Marcus Rashford openly stated that he is ready to leave the club, after which he conveniently started to ignore match applications. Now the relationship between the Englishman and Amadou has improved, but hardly anyone doubts that Rashford will leave the club. Marcus can follow in the footsteps of Jadon Sancho and reboot his career in Borussia Dortmund. The Bees want to rent the footballer. The authoritative publication writes about this. A weaker championship, vertical football, and many contracts. Ideal conditions for Rashford to open up. Juventus and Milan are also interested in Marcus. According to English media, a transfer to Serie A is the most likely scenario. Thiago needs a winger in his football, aimed at the opponent's goal and capable of scoring a lot. And Rashford is just one of those. Just remember how he pulled in the past season. He just tore up the Premier League. It's hard to match the Englishman's keys, even harder to keep him in shape. And it's not a fact that Thiago Motta will agree to solve such a task. In Milan, Rafael Leao plays on the left. Why does Rossoneri need Rashford too? Perhaps at the end of the day, Izao has some original plan to use Marcus or Leao as a striker. But for now, it all looks like a senseless deal. Leo and Rashford are duplicating each other. Even from the point of view of characters, very similar footballers. The option with Juve seems more logical. It remains to be seen if Bianconeri can afford the transfer. In addition to Rashford, MU plans to get rid of Casemiro. According to journalist Ben Jacobs, Brazilians want to get 3 clubs from Saudi Arabia, including Al Nassr, Cristiano Ronaldo. After the arrival of Amarima Akaza, he still couldn't show that the poor form of recent seasons is Ten Hag's fault, not aging. So going to Ronaldo for a huge salary will be the best choice. Kobbie Mainoo unexpectedly broke into the Manchester United starting lineup under Erik ten Hag. Man United's leadership didn't provide the Dutch coach with a pivot capable of driving the ball through the center via dribbling and passing. Ten Hag had to search the academy, finding Mainoo Kobbie, who isn't a stronghold yet. Justenko struggles in 1v1s and his passing needs improvement. However, his technique is incredible, as if the ball is magnetized to his foot. He can turn on a dime and sharply change direction. Put him in support, and you're assured the ball will reach the attacking halfback consistently. With the arrival of Amarima, Mainu's position has not changed, judging by everything. After all, the club isn't seeking a new pivot, and Amarim has faith in the young Englishman. Kobe seems to be the perfect addition for Manuel Ugarte, but he may still leave the club. Journalist Chris Wheeler writes that Mainu is negotiating a new contract with MU, and they're going softly speaking unsuccessfully. United is trying to reduce the wage fund, and budget constraints hinder the extension of Maignan. The former halfback was considered untouchable, but the club's financial problems and difficulties in complying with profitability and sustainability rules have made a potential sale closer to reality. In addition, Kobe is concerned about United's position and the prospect of being without the Champions League next season, and therefore doubts the extension of the contract, which surprises some fans, by the way. They are used to the fact that the trainees are ready to die for the football, and some season without the Champions League does not scare them, especially considering United's many recent disappointments. Mainu's agent has already contacted Chelsea. The Blues are interested in the player, but first they want to sort out their own assets. Sell Corny and Chazara, and there's money for the transfer. Sir Alex Ferguson called Mainu the heart and soul of the team. And someone will definitely find some symbol in the fact that he will be sold after Redcliffe's arrival. Sad news for Barcelona fans. The Catalans have turned to the Higher Sports Council to help register Olmo. The state body will study the documentation in the near future, after which it will make a conclusion and pass all the information to José Manuel Rodríguez Uribes. It is he, the head of the Higher Sports Council, who will make the final decision. Just found out that Uribes has been handed over to a Real Madrid fan. And who knows, will he be objective? So the Blaugrana fans are already in mourning, as are the players of the Blue Garnets. Insiders report that the Barcelona dressing room is devastated by the news. The footballers can't fathom how something like this could happen. Rafinha made a statement that threatens to end his career in Barcelona. Yes, this situation affects the rest of the team's players. I agree, but I dislike lying. If I were in another club and saw the situation with Danny Pauwi, I might wonder if it's worth moving to Barca. I think Rafinha thought he was immortal. Avi once gave a similar speech about Barca not being in the best position, and in the end he was fired. And El Mundo journalist Abraham Romero reported that Laporta came to Barcelona's training after Rafinha's press conference and called the Brazilian for a talk. What they talked about is unknown, but one can guess. Laporta probably demanded that Rafa keep his mouth shut. Despite Wenger's brilliant game this season, he could easily be sold. Wealthy Australian Premier League clubs are also interested in Rafinha. As for Dani Olmo, who he will not register at all, if you believe the issue, he has already agreed with Bavaria. The Spaniard will move to Munich as a free agent, having terminated his contract with Blaugrana. But first, he wants to wait for the end of the saga with the registration. Danny has already played in the Bundesliga. He liked living in Germany. The choice is understandable. Bavaria's football suits him. It will be lucky for the Reds if they get such a reinforcement in the middle of the season. Just a royal boost from Laporte. Newcastle United managed to deal with Arsenal in the League Cup with a score of 2-0. The team is taking the tournament seriously, realizing their solid chances for trophies, and have released their maximum combat compositions. An equal and fair battle was expected, and we saw it. Arsenal predictably took control of the ball, while Newcastle tried to sharply develop attacks after turnovers caused by pressing. Unlike last season, Newcastle plays once a week, and the team is not so plagued by injuries. And they have enough physical strength to maintain their own style, so Arsenal had a hard time yesterday. Mostly the Gunners had to drop the ball on the flank and come up with something there, remember. Bukayo Saka is out due to injury. So the creativity was significantly less than usual. But even so, they created a lot of chances. 12 corners, that's enough for them, isn't it? There were enough moments from the game, to be honest. Just look at Kai Hammer's blunder in the rush. His head is clearly not for hitting the ball. I have no idea how one could miss in such a situation, but maybe you can explain this. So if you missed the match, be sure to check out the review on our TV channel using the link in the description in the pinned comment. There's a lot of interesting stuff there. Drop by and we'll chat in the comments. Pushkare had a lot of approaches throughout the match. The opposition defense has never been a strong side of Newcastle, but the Gunners just couldn't score, and it's all down to execution. They just laughed at the XG statistic, scoring more than 3 units. 7 shots from the goal area and 5 clear moments. The team lacks a top forward, a natural 9, not Havertz. That's what Sorok has. Isak organized both goals for United yesterday. The second Anthony Gordon celebrated in the style of Thierry Henry for a troll in the cannon. Now it's interesting how Arteta will respond. Will he release the main team or the second lineup? After 0-2, it seems that losing heavily doesn't make much sense, and Paul is much more important. Yes, an extra cup is not superfluous, but in a championship with a dozen league cups. So I won't be surprised if Arteta will be pouring the return match for the sake of the championship. Manchester City is planning a restructuring to compensate for recent shortcomings. The club is prepared to replace veterans with younger players. It's unsurprising that City wants to offload Kyle Walker, as the Englishman has been a letdown and is currently in the worst form of his career. It only makes sense, but why do the citizens think to get rid of Ederson as well? The Brazilian plays in a position that is not so dependent on age. And the jumps are not the same, but everything is compensated by experience. The jumps are not the same anymore, but everything is compensated by experience. A well-chosen approach to the actions of the goalkeepers. Moreover, the goalkeeper does more than just save. Devaluing goalkeepers' actions. The goalkeeper does more than just save. Ederson excels in both defensive and offensive skills. In terms of defense, Ederson has a full range of both skills. While good at position selection, he's not as capable as Alisson at miraculously handling numerous one-on-one situations in a season. But he also knows something. He commands the defense brilliantly. And I won't say anything about his footwork. You all know that the only ones who can compete with him here are Andrea Nana, Manuel Neuer, and Ter Stegen. I see no reason why City should worry about the goalkeeper position. Nevertheless, the citizens are looking for a new keeper. They are unhappy with Ederson's performance. According to Food Mercata, City has found 3 options to replace him. Michel Di Gregorio from Juventus, Dion Suzuki from Parma, and Milinkovic-Savic from Torino. Di Gregorio, of course, is the most famous. He is good enough with his footwork, even though he is Italian, not a foot soldier. I've heard Suzuki is Italian, not a foot soldier. I've heard about Suzuki for a few years. Caught the attention of Grants when he was still playing in Japan. He's a talented player with a Ghanaian father and Japanese mother. Bayern and Manchester United are watching him closely. He plays very boldly with his feet, just like Ederson. Milinkovic-Savic is calmer and hasn't displayed exceptional on-the-ball skills, except for a couple of stylish plasters. But it seems to be the style of Torino. If Scout and City shortlisted him, then there must be something. The new City goalkeeper will undoubtedly pass through the entire field without cracking under pressure. Even if Guardiola leaves, it will be a long time before his ideas are abandoned. Elon Musk has long wanted to get into football. It seemed that the billionaire was only joking about Manchester United. But, if you believe the English press, the American was actually thinking about buying MU. But it didn't work out. No worries, everything can be fixed. The Glazers plan to sell Manchester United entirely in the coming years. I won't be surprised if right after the upcoming World Cup, when United's shares will rise and there will be demand for the club. That's what the Glazers are waiting for. The rest of the shares will be sold. But Musk has alternatives if he doesn't want to break into the Premier League. The father of businessman Elon Musk said that he too might buy Liverpool. Errol initially refused to comment on his son's interest in Liverpool. He said the scooter owners will increase the price. He expressed interest in buying the club, but that doesn't mean he will buy it. He would like to, obviously anyone would, and me too. His grandmother was born in Liverpool, and we have relatives in Liverpool. And we were lucky to know quite a few of them because they grew up with some of my family. So we do have a connection with Liverpool. Oh, the current owners of Liverpool explained very profitably a few years ago that they would only sell the club very, very expensively. And they even stated that they are waiting for offers, but they haven't sold the club to anyone yet. So Musk will have to offer them a whole fortune. Luckily, he is not a poor man. Of course, I value the current management of Liverpool, but I would like the owners to be richer so they can really compete on equal terms with such a giant as Manchester City. Or even with Arsenal, because the eternal economy is already tiring. Ask Trent, Van Dijk, and Salah. They will confirm Musk will bring substantial funds and a massive fan base to Liverpool. With his arrival, many Americans will become more interested in football. There should be enough intelligence and capable advisors to keep the club's steering wheel, Edwards and the company. And then a new successful era of Liverpool awaits us, perhaps even with a large number of trophies, more than the era of Jurgen Klopp. The trial in the case of 150 violations by Manchester City has ended. Probably in a couple of months, or even in February, we will learn about the results. Of course, any result will lead to an appeal from one of the sides. The investigation will drag on, but it's worth guessing what it's all about now. Financial expert Kieran Maguire on the program. Explain the situation. 3 charges have been brought. The most serious is receiving money from owners who they sponsored. This is fraud. If you consider each violation separately, it could lead to a deduction of 60 to 100 points, which would effectively result in a demotion. Maguire, but not that one, said that some of City's violations are hard to prove. For example, the players' grey payments. Kieran noted that many clubs do this. He personally knows a number of active and former players who simultaneously work for the owner's company and receive a salary at the club. He also told about cases when players' mothers were paid hundreds of thousands of pounds to work with academy scouts so the player could get more advantageous offers. According to the expert, City is almost certainly losing on the 3rd charge, which is a refusal to cooperate with the Premier League investigation. Maguire also said that the entire City leadership will have to step down if the citizens lose the court, as this will be an admission of their guilt in providing false information and actual lies to the commission. That is, City will be forced to restructure at the top levels, just like Juventus, when the overestimation of player transfer costs was revealed. But not only City faces punishment for financial crimes. Saint-Germain also faces sanctions, even from Union of European Football Associations, all because of non-payment of salary to Kylian Mbappe. The publication writes that the Parisians violated the regulations on club licensing and financial stability. Eurocup participant clubs should not have debts to employees as of July 15th, October 15th, and January 15th for payments. Accordingly, if the Parisians do not report by the 15th that they have no debts, then Union of European Football Associations will be forced to penalize the club. In what way? Probably we are talking about disqualification from the European Cups. But don't scare this passenger. The club has already been scared off and is in the 15th line, so the playoffs do not shine for him. However, Parisians are threatened with a ban next season. No matter how Al-Hilafi struggled, it is purely economically more profitable to pay Mbappe, provided they make it to the playoffs for sure. That's all for today. Thank you for watching and subscribing to the channel. Friends, don't forget to subscribe and to our Telegram. Reminding you for the 2nd time, well, my name is Kirill Cast, and that was your daily dose of football. Peace to your house and Yohange, friends.